The video begins with a man entering a residence. He walks towards the front of the house as he goes out of the camera frame. At the same time, we see a white car stopped right by the gate. We then see the man coming back as he calls his sidekicks. In South Africa, house break-ins are common in both affluent and poor areas. Robbers usually target a residence for weeks and months before the initial break-in. Another man is seen by the gate as he possibly acts as the lookout with the getaway driver. Moments later, we see the men returning holding valuables from the house. It's astonishing how this can be done in broad daylight. These culprits seem to have no fear at all in these circumstances. This also shows the importance of alarm systems and possibly quick responding private security. We see another man carrying what seems to be a smart TV from the house. The residents must not have been at home, and the culprits probably knew this information. We see them loading everything into the getaway car as they prepare to finish their heist. This was definitely a terrible experience for the residents after they realized what had happened. We see the robbers entering the car while preparing to escape the scene after finishing their foul plan. In the next video, we first see a man crawling in the front yard. He had managed to slightly open the gate as he tried to slowly creep towards the other side of the gate. The clown then turns his attention towards the house. The crawling doesn't make any sense here as he is in full light with the camera, catching his every motion. This definitely shows how dumb some of these robbers are. The crawling continues as he approaches the house on all fours. He then signals for his fellow clowns to join the crawling contest. Now we have two clowns crawling their way towards the house. The other robbers watches his sidekick as he crawls towards him in full light right within the camera frame. The circus continues as he gets closer and closer to the first culprit. The circus continued with more and more robbers joining the crawling act. They definitely practiced this beforehand. South Africa has one of the highest break-in rates in the world. Homes are continuously broken into, and due to the shortcomings in both the police and justice system, criminals often end up either not caught or given lenient sentences. The crawling game continues here as they all get closer to the garage opening. We then see them opening the garage gate as they look for valuables inside the house. We then again see the importance of guard dogs and any form of security which can be an asset in situations like this. The men continue their heist as they move inside the garage. These situations are greatly terrifying for house occupants. The idea of robbers entering your home, mostly in South Africa, is something no one wants to have in mind. Unfortunately, the robbers managed to take the bike and left the scene. On our next video, we see a man struggling to open a window at a residence. This is another case where the occupants must not have been at home, and the robber might have been scouting and monitoring this house for some time. As he continues to try and open the window, this is in broad daylight. The man then leaves the area as he seemed to be failing here. He must have had second thoughts in this situation as the clown came with no plan at all. We see him returning as he decided not to give up his foul act. We then see him calling another robber as they try to put ideas together. The shameless clones continue their act as they try to open the window. With two hands on deck, the clown were determined to open the window. To prevent this, it is recommended to recruit guard dogs that can protect your home from these clowns. Alarm system can also play a great role in these situations as they can scare off intruders. The men continues their act, and unfortunately they finally manage to open the window. They then start taking some of the valuables from the window before entering the house through the window. The two men spend about 30 minutes inside before getting away with a gold ring, cash, and a passport. Here we see a group of men by the gate of a residence. The men seem to be talking about something as we see the gate slightly opened. Their urgency suddenly increases as we see a car approaching the scene. Something fishy was definitely going on here as we see men going up and down the area. They rush to fully open the gate as the car is moved closer to the gate. This must be the getaway car in this robbery. We see the culprits as they rush inside the residence, which is out of the camera's view. This is done in broad daylight, and in most cases the people passing by do not suspect any foul play due to how these robbers play these scenes. They also mostly target homes after scouting the area. The robberies are often done when the residents are not around, but other times the residents can be inside, and this is mostly the worst-case scenario. We see the men holding firearms walking past the camera. These are possibly lookouts in this situation. The shameless men continue their heist as we see them carry army-grade weapons. South Africa has a gun problem. Most of the gangs and robbers in the country are armed to the teeth. This is due to the corruption within the arms division in the National Police Force. Guns are sometimes sold to gangs in the country, and the same guns are used by these criminals to cause havoc on the nation. We see the men as they bring the staff from the house. Unfortunately, they had successfully broken into the house. We see as they put more and more staff inside one of the getaway cars. These men seem to have no fear at all to be doing this in broad daylight. This shows why it's important to clump hard on crime. If not, the criminals will become comfortable leading to situations like this. We see the men as they continue their shameful act. They then signal for the other robbers to come back as they prepared to leave the area. Unfortunately, in this case, they managed to take valuable belongings from the house and escape the scene. Here we see a vehicle reversing into a residence. The lady slowly reverses as the camera shows the open street in front of the gate. Then see another man approaching from the house as the driver exits the car, leaving the house gate open. The man then starts closing the gate as we see another car approach the area at that same moment. The car then stops in front of the gate, and a man comes out holding a gun. He makes it inside right before the gate was about to close. This was clearly an armed robbery, and the man must have been targeting this home. We see the robbers as they pressure the owners by the gate. When entering your home, it is always recommended to check your surroundings and make sure you are not being followed, mostly in a country with high hijacking rates. It is also recommended not to leave the gate open for too long in any way once you enter the residence. Unfortunately, in this case, the culprits managed to reach the owners before the gate closed. We see the clowns as they demand valuables from the owners. They continue to search the vehicle and the people for anything they deemed valuable. The man tries to protect his wife as he fended off one of the culprits. They finally finished their heist and left the area. Luckily, no one was physically hurt there in this situation. The man tried with a brick there, but it was too late. And a woman walking towards the door and the man pulling a gun towards the entrance. This man and his girlfriend allegedly followed a couple and their young child from the park. The intentions were to rob these people, but they managed to rush inside the house before these two culprits could catch up. This shows how dangerous it can be even in broad daylight. Luckily, this was caught on camera, and the police had an idea whom they were looking for. The young lady even laughed in this situation right in front of the camera, not knowing the extent of the crime she had just been involved in. Luckily, no one was physically hurt there, but these experiences can be bad for the victims and their child.